Hello, this is a video response to Scouty 111's Think Aloud experiment. So I've followed the rules. I haven't looked at the text yet. If you're going to do the experiment, then please switch off now, because this could affect your own responses to the text. So here we go. Okay, circadian disynchrony and transmeridian flight. Well, I don't have a clue what this means. Transmeridian flight, okay, flying across the meridian lines. Circadian disynchrony. Dyssynchrony, okay, not being synchronized. Circadian, and it reminds me of some Greek islands. I think the Circades or something like that. Apart from that, the title is pretty confusing. Taken as a whole, I'm not quite sure what to make of it. Perhaps it's, we haven't read any further, perhaps it's instructions for, well, flight, it's for navigation in the area of the Greek islands, or something like that. But just looking at casting a glance on the first lines of the text, it seems like it's nothing to do with this, but let's see. So, conflict of circadian rhythmicity with that of the environment arises when the environmental synchronizers are weakened, disappear completely, or change their period length. Let's have a look at this. So, there's two kinds of rhythmicity here, the circadian rhythmicity and the rhythmicity of the environment. Now, what would the rhythmicity of the environment refer to? I suppose the rhythm of natural processes, but I still have no idea of circadian rhythmicity, so it's difficult to compare the two things. So these this conflict between these two rhythmicities occurs, or arises, when the environmental synchronizers are weakened, disappear completely, or change their period length. Environmental synchronizers. Now, what on earth would environmental synchronizers be? I have no idea. Okay. Let's continue, it may become clear. This occurs in submarine and space operations, and with partial removal of external periodic inputs, as in the Arctic, though in man the clock, hour and daytime related social activities are important synchronizers. Right. So, saying here is the environmental synchronizers are affected in submarine and space operations. They're affected, they're weakened or disappear, or change their period length. Sorry, this thing is difficult to read. Right, partial removal from external periodic inputs. So there are periodic inputs to the environmental synchronizers, though in man the clock, hour and daytime related social activities are important synchronizers. Okay, I think if I really had a text to read like this, I think rather than reading it line by line like this, what I'd actually do is try to read the thing through quite quickly, just without stopping to work out what each word means. But I don't know if I'm constrained by the exercise to do that. I think things, when you get a general sense, then you can come back to the particular sense of a phrase or the vocabulary that's used, trying to guess what that means. So I feel a little kind of constrained by the rules of the game here. Okay, let's just continue. Rest and activity patterns are also out of phase with the environment in shift workers. Okay. Particularly when night work is undertaken. So, I mean, that confirms what I was just saying, I think. So we're talking about natural rhythms here. Okay. Circadian rhythmicity. So I think I'm starting to get something here. Aren't we talking about jet lag and that kind of thing? And well, it mentions explicitly here shift workers, so it's talking about the biological rhythms, the natural biological rhythms being put out of phase by shift work. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Transmeridian flights. Yeah, so we're obviously talking about the jet lag here. Involve displacements across latitudes and produce rapid and often large time zone changes. The sudden shift disengages the environmental and biological rhythms and is also likely to lead to disturbed sleep. Okay. So it disengages the environmental and biological rhythms. So that means that the change between day and night conflicts with the we call it, I suppose, a kind of internal clock, biological clock. Subjectively, most people complain of tiredness, impaired appetite, and general loss of well-being, while sleepiness is experienced at inconvenient times. It's suddenly becoming much clearer. Desynchronization of the environmental and biological rhythms also influences performance at certain times of the day. Performance is impaired in the late afternoon and early night of at least the first day after flights in a westerly direction, and in the morning and the afternoon after travelling eastwards. Okay, well, that to me is limpid, basically. No problems with that. The desynchronization of circadian rhythms. Right, so circadian rhythms, now the sense becomes clearer to me, and we're obviously talking about human biological rhythms, and I suppose in particular perhaps attached to sleep. Okay, so the desynchronization of circadian rhythms associated with transmeridian flight has been examined in several studies. After westbound flights, the curve of circadian rhythmicity is displaced to the left of that of the environmental changes. Right, after eastward flights to the right. Okay, so that's talking about a graphic representation of this desynchronization of the difference between the two. The amplitude may be altered, and sometimes a rhythm may disappear. Right, so we're saying, well, obviously to put this in a graph, you have to be able to measure the two things and represent them graphically. And this is assuming this can be done. There are methods to do this. Re-entrainment of rhythms to the new environment occurs gradually, and with body temperature begins with the first sleep in the new zone. Right. So this is talking about the adaptation of the biological rhythms to the environmental rhythms, or the circadian rhythms to the... I feel like you're becoming an expert when you start using the jargon. Circadian rhythms to the environmental rhythms. And with body temperature begins in the first sleep in the new zone. Now, what's body temperature doing here? Well, okay, so